Tess Ingram is a UNICEF spokesperson and joins us from al-Mawasi in southern Gaza, where Israel is attempting to drive displaced Palestinians. And Tess, I'm sure you've been watching the scenes coming out of Gaza City, as we all have. How much of a threat to civilian life is this policy of blowing up, destroying these residential high-rise buildings in Gaza City?
It's an enormous threat to the almost 1 million people there, half of which are children. And I think that's important for us to remember, Sammy. Every second person in Gaza City is a child, and life is becoming almost impossible there for them. People are terrified. They're exhausted. I was there just a few days ago meeting with families who, like your reporter was just saying, are selling their belongings, desperately trying to find money to feed their children and to be able to move if they have to. So it's the catastrophe that we've been hoping won't happen, and yet here it is unfolding.
And Tess, you're actually in al-Mawasi. Earlier today, the Israeli military put out a statement telling people to head to the south, saying infrastructure, field hospitals, water pipelines, all of this is available. From what you can see, does al-Mawasi have the capacity to deal with an extra, what could be up to 1 million people if they're pushed out, forcibly evacuated from Gaza City? Have the Israeli authorities been building housing for them and appropriate infrastructure?
Of course, al-Mawasi doesn't have the capacity, and we've been warning about that for almost 2 years. This place is not safe for two key reasons. One, because it doesn't, as you say, have the infrastructure that's needed for the entire population of the Gaza Strip to survive. It's a very small area. The services here are limited. They're not meeting the needs of the existing population, let alone if hundreds of thousands more people come here in the next few days and weeks. It's already overcrowded. People are already struggling to access food and water. So that's not a good solution. Secondly, it's unsafe because bombardments continue here. Just 4 days ago, 8 children were killed in al-Mawasi while waiting for water. So this is not a safe place from any respect.
You were recently in Gaza City, from what I understand. Just tell us how desperate the situation is for people there.
It's a famine in an escalating conflict zone. I think those two principles alone are enough, or should be enough, to drive the world into action to try and stop any further escalation in this offensive. There were crowds outside UNICEF nutrition clinics of desperate parents trying to get treatment for their malnourished children. I went to hospitals where children were badly injured by the strikes, which are, of course, already happening in Gaza City. Children with terrible shrapnel wounds, explosive injuries, a girl who just had her leg amputated, a boy who looked like he was probably going to lose his arm in the coming hours. And then, of course, there are families that have already been displaced in and around Gaza City from the east to the west. And of course, the West is where today we've seen those strikes. So nowhere is safe. Children are at constant risk from both the bombardments, the humanitarian crisis, and the displacement.
And we've seen in pictures coming from Gaza City that people are camped out in tents there in some parts of the streets. When you talk with people, just convey to us what they say to you about why they don't feel it's safe to go to the south or to al-Mawasi, or they're not able to go.
First of all, they know that it's not safe in Gaza City. As you say, many people are in tents, particularly now along the beach on the western side of Gaza City, recently coming from the north and from the east. There's some of these families left in the middle of the night as they say, quadcopters started opening fire. I met 2 girls who were separated from their family in that chaos. So families know they're already not safe, but they have no good options, Sammy. They've got really no good place to go. They know that if they go south, many of them having done that previously in the conflict, that an uncertain future awaits them. There is not enough space. There are not enough services. I met one family who the father had actually gone south in an attempt to try and see whether they could all move there. And he returned saying, "We can't go. We can't go. We can't afford the transport. We can't afford what little bit of land is available there that now some people are asking high prices for. We don't have a tent. And so people are really out of options. There is no good option for a person in Gaza City at the moment trying to decide what to do.
And how particularly vulnerable are children in this situation? We hear terrible stories of children being gunned down trying to go to get aid, to children suffering the brunt of the trauma that comes with losing their parents, their loved ones.
I think, as I said, every second person in Gaza City is a child. This is a war on children. And they are suffering immeasurably from the thousands of children in Gaza City that we know need urgent treatment for malnutrition, to the children I described who are languishing in pains in hospitals that desperately want to treat them but don't have the equipment, the medicines, the staff, and children who are really so traumatised by what they've endured. I met a little girl who's the sole survivor of a strike just 2 weeks ago. Now she's not speaking. Another girl who's been waiting for a medical evacuation for more than a month now. Again, horrible injuries and traumatised, not speaking. This is what's happening to a generation of children in the Gaza Strip. And UNICEF is doing everything that we can to support them. We're bringing in aid. We recently just got nutrition supplies up to Gaza City to try and fight the famine. And we're here in al-Mawasi trucking water and doing other important services. But it's not enough. We urgently need to scale up, and more than anything else, we need a ceasefire to stop this once and for all.
Thank you very much, Tess Ingram, UNICEF spokesperson.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.